Hi, Year One. Today we're going to be looking at the 4 seasons. So, it was the first day of school, and James, Bisma, Lily, and Felix were all really excited. Their teacher asked them what they had been doing over the summer. So, one says, I went for a picnic in the park. Another says, I had a barbecue in the garden. And then another one says, I went to the beach. It was really sunny and I had an ice cream. The teacher explained that this year the children would be learning all about the seasons. So our seasons are autumn, winter, summer, and spring, and each season is very different. This year, the children are going to look for changes in the weather and in the world around them. And their teacher gave them a special camera so the children could take pictures of all 4 seasons. They took a picture together to celebrate starting school. They were really excited. So we're moving on to our first season, and this is autumn. So as the weeks went by, the children started to notice some changes. The weather was getting a little bit colder and it got darker much earlier. The sun rose later on in the morning. The children had a harvest festival at school to celebrate all of the food that had been growing and then had been harvested. And then they're saying more things in the speech bubble. One says, I collected conkers on the way to school. And this little child here says, I saw leaves falling from the trees. They had changed colour too. Here are some of the pictures that the children took during the season of autumn. So they loved playing with the leaves that had fallen from the trees. One of the children realised that some of the plants and flowers had died. And in November, some of the children celebrated bonfire night and watched fireworks in the dark. And some of the children celebrated Diwali. They decorated their homes with colourful rangoli patterns and special candles called diva lamps. In autumn, some animals hibernate, which means that they go into a really long and deep sleep until the spring. So we're going to click on the leaves to find the animals. So if we have a look at the first one, we can just see a little bit of its bottom here. What do you think it's going to be? See a little nose as well. It's a hedgehog. And this one's got a really, really long tail. You can see some whiskers poking out. Let's find out. It's a little dormouse. And then this one, we might be able to tell what it is because it looks like it's hanging upside down. Let's see. It's a bat. So all of these animals hibernate. Moving on to the next season, which is winter. So it started getting dark very early, and the children could see that in winter we don't have much daylight, so we don't have much light all the time. Lots and lots of trees had lost their leaves and they just had bare branches. Wow, I can see my breath in the air when I walk to school on frosty mornings. This little girl says, I'm so cold. I have to wear my hat, a scarf, gloves at playtime, and they help me keep warm. During the winter months, the children took these pictures. So they saw some frost on the ground and trees with no leaves. Remember, when you walk on frost, it's quite crunchy. Lots of children celebrated Christmas with their families, and some of them decorated a Christmas tree at home. When it snowed, they went sledging with their family and friends. And as a special treat, the children made delicious hot chocolate to warm them up after a cold playtime. Sometimes it snows in the winter, and we've had some snow recently too. Evie wanted to build a snowman with her mum. Which hat do you think she should wear? Do we think it's this top hat, the woolly hat, or the cap? What do you think? Yes, she needs the woolly hat, doesn't she, to keep her head and her ears nice and warm. Moving on to our next season, spring. So the season after winter is spring. The children noticed that the sun was rising a little bit earlier in the morning and it was starting to get dark much later. So the evenings were still nice and light than in autumn and winter. So we've got these children playing in the fields and they're saying, I love flying my kite on windy days. And this little girl next to this really pretty tree says, I can see all the blossom twirling and swirling in the wind. So here are some of the pictures that the children took for spring. So Lily went to the farm with her family. She took the school camera with her and she saw baby lambs, chicks, calves and foals. We see a lot of baby animals being born in spring. The children wore their wellies so they could splash in the puddles because it does a lot of raining in the spring. They spotted bluebells growing in the wood. And it says, do you know the names of any other spring flowers? So the most popular one that we get at springtime is the bright yellow ones. And if you have a quick sneak just at the bottom where my mouse is here, there is some of them. They're daffodils. The daffodils come out in the spring. And then when they were playing outside, the sun was shining and it also began to rain. So the children spotted a rainbow. So in spring, the weather can change a lot. So one minute it might be really sunny, the next it might be rainy. Lots of baby animals are born in spring. Can you help the children find the chicks? So it says, we have lost some chicks. Click on the picture to help us find them. So I don't think there's any in the trees. What about the bush? Are they under? There's one. Under the flowers, there's another. I wonder if one's hiding behind the rabbits. It is. There's 1, 2, 3. Next one is summer. So after spring, it is summer. So it gets dark very late and it's still light when you go to bed. So the weather was much warmer, although not every day in summer was sunny. Sometimes it does rain in summer too. So we had a picnic in the park. It was really sunny and warm. And then when it's really, really hot, I kept cool in the paddling pool. I had to wear sun cream and drink lots of water too. So here are some of the photos that the children took of summer. So one of the children played in the paddling pool with his sisters. One played football at the park. The children grew tomatoes at school and they tasted delicious. And on sunny days, the children had ice cream as a special treat to cool them down. So the children had sports day at school. They went outside to have races and play games. Can you click on the things that they need on a hot summer's day? So let's have a look at what we've got. We've got a coat, sun cream, wellies, a drink, gloves, and a cap. So which ones do you think they will need? Do you think they'll need the coat? No, they're not going to, are they? Because it's going to be too hot. They'll be all sweaty. What about the sun cream? Yes, they need to put the sun cream on so that their skin doesn't burn. So let's click on that one. We've got a green circle, so I'm guessing that's a good sign. Do you think they will need wellies when it's hot outside? No, there's no puddles to splash in. What about a bottle? Well done. They will need to keep drinking when it's hot. You need lots and lots of water. So brilliant. What about the gloves? Do you think they're going to need gloves in the summertime? No, it's not winter, so we're not going to click that one. What about the cap? Yes, they'll need to wear the cap. And then this part, the peak of the cap, keeps the sun out of your eyes, but it also protects your head so your head doesn't get burnt. So we're going to click that one. Well done, everybody. So at the end of the year, the children and their teacher looked back at all of the photographs they took. They stuck them in a special book along with things that they had collected through the year. So the first little girl says, let's stick these crunchy leaves onto the page about autumn. And then the little boy says, I'm going to put the flag from my sandcastle on the summer page because the different coloured leaves happen in autumn and you mainly build sandcastles when it's the summer. The children realised that after summer, the next season would be autumn again. And you can see here that there is a little wheel with the seasons on, and each month of the year has a season. So if we start with autumn, September, October, November is normally the autumn. December, January and February are winter, and that's what we're in now because we're in February at the moment. So next month when we go into March, it will be spring. So March, April, May are all spring, and then June, July and August are summer. So they've got some questions here. Which season is your favourite and why? So you can tell your adult or write it down. What happens in autumn? Which season is the coldest? What did the children see in spring? And how do the trees change through the year? So those are some questions that you can think about and talk about with your grown-up. So that is the end. Now, in your packs, you have a couple of activity sheets to do all about the seasons. So one of them is the wheel that we have just seen here. And what you're going to do is draw a picture to match what happens in that season. And then the other one is a matching one. So you've got at the top of your page, you've got 4 pictures of the different seasons. And then at the bottom, you've got some different pictures. So you might have an ice cream, you might have a scarf, and you have to cut them out and stick them with the right season. So make sure you send us your pictures of those on Seesaw, and I will see you very soon. Bye, year 1.